On a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever on a day. And welcome to the program Inside Salon today. Today is a special broadcast. So I want to begin for share the program immediately because what they can do today, they can do some announcements them about this platform here and also some observation them. And the CEO and founder of this platform, Mr. Prince Emil Komasege, for join me later. So please do not allow share. And today on a Sunday, the 7th of March, 2021, me and our host and presenter, Mohamed Kamara, popularly known as Supermed. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans, like we are saying no more, it's a special program we get. And what you go do by the program, and they make announcements then of the program so now therefore see now this platform coming soon. And the whole topic today, it will go around the observations where we get over for talk as a society because the interaction on begin. You know, the big communication on begin. We need for know what's in the go on our country and why we do also we do so. What's are the challenges and what we face, so on and so forth. We'll go for look at key things in our country, like for instance, the economic situation in our country, peace and security, the fight against corruption. While all NTR would they see them, they be out and be like how they be so. But they go for look at leadership. In all NTR, and very important. Leadership is very, very important. And I believe say now one of the key issues that one day we as Sierra Leoneans say, before they ask ourselves, what's it happen? Why would they get so much poor leadership in our country? Why? We as a people, we as a society, a nation, a country, in terms of leadership, are we getting the type of leadership what they expect? So all of those things, they're inside this observation, where that topic, the CEO and founder of this platform, get for Jeremy very soon. Now then topic that I'll go for discuss in detail. But first of all, I'll make the announcements then. Now this platform here, so Saturday, the 13th of March, 2021. So this coming Saturday, we get 8 p.m. It will be precisely 8 p.m. and the program will be inside Salon today. We get the acting National Publicity Secretary of the APC party, Mr. Sidi Yaya Tunis, go there with me Yasu. And obviously, Mr. Sidi Yaya is one of the key stakeholders. Now the APC party, I'll be a former minister, now the previous administration of former President Dr. Anes Baikoma, he go there with me on this platform. So I want to watch out for that date, Saturday, the 13th of March, 2021. And again, Tuesday, the 18th of March, 2021, 8 p.m. again, will they get the editor of the Africanist Press, Mr. Chegno Alphaba, go there with me on this platform. So I want to pen that date down because now on the Tuesday, the 18th of March, 2021, we will get Mr. Chegno Alphaba, the editor of the Africanist Press. Obviously, we'll say the Africanist Press, we all know what the Africanist Press don't do lately. So the editor himself will deal with me on this platform on Tuesday, the 18th of March. So now the two announcements and the two programs, upcoming programs, then now one day, where I need for shout now immediately. Very, very important program. Now, watch out for that date. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic today now about observation where we as Sierra Leoneans they make. We they look east, west, north, and south of the country, and we look at NTR so. One of the key things for so one look at now the economy, where people like you say the bread and butter issue in our country. But you cannot look at the economy in isolation. I can always say the economy business is interwoven with peace and security and also the fight against corruption. All NTR, they work together. So if you one get problem, it affect the other one. So they are intertwined. But let's begin unpack them. Let we look at the economy. What's in the happening with the country economy, the bread and butter issue? It gets so many angles then where we can look at them. So many facets them where it affects we all. Nobody no go immune because if the economy not good, even you the gentleman say go suffer the consequences. And I believe say all the governments no go want say they will take power in the country or take over governance, then no let the economy good. I believe say they all want play the economy good, but it's the way where they go about them. Now, he make a decide for put all entity together, the economy, peace and security, and the fight against corruption. Because I definitely believe say all these issues are very much interwoven. And we got to look at them in a holistic approach. Because otherwise, we're not able to actually understand what they go on in our country. Ladies and gentlemen, when I will continue for sure, I want to welcome Mr. Melvin Thomas, Mr. Abdullah A. Jallo, and Dauda S. Kamara. So now all welcome to the platform. And I will continue for share the program because I believe that this discussion is very important to we all. This is the national discussion for we all, where we all are Sierra Leoneans. For they ask you certain question, they ask you, why then see how they happen in our country? Why we economy always they go from bad to worse, and they how they see so. What's in happen in our country now? Just over 2 years ago, $100 now 740,000 euros. Now $100 now 1 million plus. So that it tells you the Leone said the value gradually, because just in over like less than 3 years, nearly 250,000 don't add pantapity for me go get $100. And that gets a repercussion because it creates hyperinflation. So maybe they buy yesterday 5,000, maybe now you go buy 10,000, or you go buy 7,000 or 8,000. And meanwhile, the people them income, people that they work in the country will get job. What do they pay? So tell somebody may pay them 500,000. So say up to now the same 500,000 they receive, but the expenditure don't go up exponentially, and that it gets serious impact to that person in life and in family life. So it's very important. I always talk, I'm saying the number one issue in any country, now the economy. If the economy not right, it go difficult for any other thing that country they right. Even education, health, so on and so forth. It not go right if the economy not right. Because all things are linked to the economy in the country. So it's very important that they look at why make the economy day like I did so. We know say this current administration, the SLPP government, headed by President Madabio, almost only take 3 years now in governance. We didn't take part since 2018 to now. But up to now, what will they see? There is no progress in terms of the economy. Although they say yes, then they put things in place and believe say eventually things go turn around. But like people like you always say, they say married with the sweets now the bachelor's eve. So for them they begin see the different things that they encourage, we say yes, the economy in Salon will turn around. But so far we not see nothing yet where we give that hope, that promise they say the economy will turn around. Because we believe say the root cause of the economic situation of the country have not been addressed. And I put all in here together, peace and security. Peace and security, very, very important. You know, and they play a pivotal role in terms of the economy in any country. Any country. Country will get peace and security guarantee, you know, to some extent, investors them, they'll be encouraged for Canada country day. Business people will say, well, that country, they go invest there. Because somebody they go invest in a country, big business them, then go come maybe spend over $20-30 million. It don't mean say automatically that $30 million they don't spend, then they get it back within a year. No. But now a long-term project, maybe they project say the next 5 years, next 10 years, next 15 years. Now so we're going to get. So again, they get for look, they get for take that particular look again in terms of the country instability. So they allow that we see. Look, then there's there we see some boys that say go attack people in that Belgium base and that them boy they sell. We see something of like a riot now, Estin where students and riot because they say kill and one part and camping, you know, so on and so forth. We don't see so many issues all about the country. And this does not build confidence to people, even Sierra Leoneans, whether in the diaspora, we go get intention, say, bo, me say I go do business in a salon, or I want reset to back go in a salon, go establish business there. The confidence no go there because they worry, say, if you allow that come, there's always the potential for that loss all my money where I don't get that. So that then they give confidence to them people and they for go establish business. And that is very, very pivotal. If that then they happen, you understand why the economic situation they like it is so. We all man they say Tintganga the gone dry. The bread and butter issue. Because that one person they go invest, maybe even a Sierra Leonean, when they return back, go open business, so then they able to employ 5-10 people. Then 5-10 people and then get their own family. So you see how the thing they trickle down to them family they need. Because they go school, they go buy for them books them, and they go cook now also that the go eat before you go land book. Because they say an empty bag cannot stand. So you see the point of view why they come out and say these observations are very important because all things I talk about, they are all intertwined. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you again on the platform. Today, the program will get in an observation. They look at key things the way they happen in our country. And the CEO and founder of this particular platform, the Then and Now Media Empire, Mr. Prince Emil Kroma, go join me shortly as well in this discussion. And when I view them, if somebody want to call, if somebody gets anything they want to contribute, they are all welcome today because today is a very, very pivotal moment that this platform here so. Where I believe say we all go, somehow ready for God multiple because like we are saying, very, very important. And now we don't get the CEO and founder of this platform, Mr. Prince Emil Kroma. Mr. Prince Emil Kroma, just be done to develop the talk a little bit. Where I say my observations here, I want to look at 3 things: the economy, peace and security, and the fight against corruption. I feel say all here so they intertwine. In your opinion, in your expert opinion, what you think and how you feel say then 3 things here so we, the national discussion, we're going to talk about them and see what in we as a society, people, a nation, obviously with leadership in the country as well, for do about NTR, so for make sure say they alleviate the suffering of the people of Sierra Leone.
Well, I just basically, Famulem una good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Massive welcome from the Then and Now platform. Happy for you with me, brother and friend, Supermed this evening. And this is not just a quick broadcast, and I shall say Supermed on hold the fort kind of very well. Just for go straight to the point, my only understanding is the first thing first is about a structure that has to be in place. And for that structure, therefore, they in place, you get for already they in place. We can talk about the system, like we hear and talk about processes and procedures. They like the issue when we get one now with the people and way they run the processes or they supervise the processes and procedures, because then processes and procedures has to be respected. So in the absence of them things and the way get for do with leadership, then obviously we go always be a victim of them problem and the way you name. So for solve them problem, basically, me believe say again for start with leadership and the kind of leadership we aspire for will be a combination of things, because you get forget a patriotic person for lead the country, somebody will understand the country, we get empathy and sympathy for in people them. And it's not about self-serving, it's about the people and the country. So you allow them processes then they and procedures then they for play out. You not necessarily get for direct, for example, you they try for undertake projects, it get for be on a national platform, it not get for be on a regional platform or a portion to one corner, like when you formulate your policy them, it get for affect the lives of those that are most affected. Yes, generally it's about the people for the people, but some people are, that's just a fact, far better off than other people. So you want to look after the one that way they below the ladder, because you need for help and bring them come up. So it's about strengthening these processes and procedures. The rule of law is very, very important. Observing the rule of law in a democracy, quite important. I can always stress processes and procedures, because now what we see over a period of time is the abuse of processes and procedures. The shifting because of political imbalance, then, if you will like. In other words, the kind of identity politics way we practice. We can make, instead of you give relevant people in the job, you won't be doing that on the basis of merit. Instead, you're going to give them the job because of political connection. And once you begin doing things, then there are going to be lapses. We eventually go tell, it's not immediate because government now one giant machine, but gradually over a period of time, it will begin to tell. You can't just train people. Government, they spend millions and millions of dollars every year for train people, civil servant, public servants, whichever way you want to call them, and only for let government change, because government again back now continuity. It's not an event. So when it change, then all them people and the way you don't spend money over that period of time they train for do a particular job, which is for take the country forward, and then you get rid of them. It doesn't really work that way. Yes, some people will have to go, but not on a mass basis. And people the way you don't train. And especially when you get political sentiments to them, you get political taste or culture to them. In other words, they do this for appease one side, mostly a side way kind of loyal to you. Them kind of politics, it has to stop because it doesn't enhance growth at all. The economy, we know say we can hear boku talk, and I'm not going to weigh into that strongly because honestly, I'm not an economist, but we know some basic things then we don't see the falter because when they do it right, we don't see the economy go right. Let me take for example, okay? I think say you've been getting this discussion regarding revenue generation. So one of the things them way government, this present government been frowned on, now contracts where the previous government been signed. So once the government been on sign and deal, and whatever been happen, and not been go down well, especially when the new government kind of take over. So then suspend the license. And this is not the thing where I support, you know that very well. Because maybe if you say yes, the deals that were signed, not knowing the to and fro of them, nitty-gritty of them, but I just be agree with this current government say those deals, were signed under dubious and shady circumstances. So when they suspend the license, I've been there in favor of that. Only for can see that they suspend them for do something we go there to their advantage, not to the country advantage, because waiting with then land is new deals were signed with mining companies without the knowledge of parliament. So back to the question where you ask, how can you conduct the business of government where the three arms of government that are supposed for they are all independent, but somehow they function in tandem with each other. One critical component is left out, or two components is left out of one, whichever way you want to work the equation, but it's always the case. This no one know what now they do. A government does not function that way. Any government that functions that way is a corrupt government. It's a government that does not respect the will of its people, by that I mean again, the people that are then given the mandate. Government derive in power from the people because now the people are given the mandate, okay? And they're working for the people, for serve the people. But then when they begin to do them kind of shady deals, then it becomes a problem. Then there will be no growth because it's all about personal self. Everything where they enact is just about themselves. It's not about country. And we see a lot of that, both in the then and the now.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Prince Emikoma. And you highlight two things in the way very striking and very telling. The rule of law. The rule of law in our country, in our constitution, where we supposed to follow. And patriotic and good leader, somebody when a leader, where you talk about leadership as well. When a leader, Japanese and Goten call the Lord servant's leader approach. Where you the leader for be very, very modest, very, very subdued to what you do. Believe in say yes, this leadership now a position entrusted to me by the people, and not to me own power, not to me own sabi, not to me own anything. The people and that they serve. So me like the servant of the people. And when you take them to the you go take them their position there, say a very, very central for let you obey the rule of law. The rule of law is important because what you do now go satisfy them potential investors and government in Canada country. Now go give guarantee to you citizens then people and me and you when as Sierra Leoneans they say yes, let I do anything I want to do in a salon, I go able to do them. If somebody wants sees advantage for me, and the law go redress that situation. The law no go agree, let Mr. Y can bully me. But if that rule of law is being trampled on, it's been abused, people need to follow and people don't respect them because them facing that they all the high echelons of power, then how can people get confidence in that country? They go see how this again also interlinked with the economy. Because this is discourage potential investors for Canada in a country. Because they know say, when in Canada country, the government can go rough shoulder, do any kind of thing against them. And we don't see recently that case we mentioned, so with SL mining, several appearance, arbitration, they don't say government wrong. Because if government don't like contracts, if you feel say this contract wrong, there are ways to go through it. Even when you get to employee them, now working place, if the employees them, if you say they don't commit, they don't do things the way before say, it's not correct, they are laid down procedures.
Yeah.
Rules and regulation way for falla. You know, just come on, Mr. Why, you know, I'm not like you today, come on, go. I don't want to, you know, working on your suit. Like you don't abuse that particular employee in rights because what you know, you get power. And that employee did not get way for go seek redress. So because the system, the rule of law is not being adhered to. And it's very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. I say no more. When we share this, that is not a discussion for we all. When we discuss about NCS, because it's very important going forward. And that's when they happen mainly in our country. Mainly in our country, we see who say people they get big cases them. Even with fellow Sierra Leoneans, when they're in diaspora, we go back. Now, salon they want to go invest, buy land, buy waiting for doing investment. Suddenly, they can't lost that land. They say that this, now all kind of issue a gap. That they build confidence to other people. Them where they will want to do the same thing. Mr. Prince Emil Kroma, again, one of the other things where we highlight, where we encompass by this economic issue as well is the fight against corruption. Because many people, them they say, all man fight corruption, all man hate corruption, all man no say corruption is cancer in our country. But when they ask yourself the question, say, why make corruption so rampant in our country? And I talked with somebody yesterday, one of my guests who I get yesterday, we talk and say, poor wages now one factor. And automatically somebody contributes on the platform, say, weak institutions. Because how the people can say, that parable day when they say, when you follow, not look how you follow, look how you buck your food. So what do they say in terms of this, again, linking them to the economy, the fight against corruption, looking at the root cause, try to address them first before we really just charge them also with fight corruption. Because there has been numerous attempts, but what they take and say there is no sincerity and people are just using it for get one over the opponents them and, you know, but basically mislead the citizens them. What now you want to take that, Mr. Kroma?
Yeah, that's a very, very brilliant, cogent question, to be honest, because the fight against corruption has become like a cliche in our country, and we pull 2-3 tips them and fumble them. Luckily, we get for the replay, we tape them because most people in feel saying just a few months ago now begin for exist. We've been in existence for a number of years now and normally talk about national issues. And the brother asked a very good question. So here is my take. So we first of all need to understand waiting na corruption and waiting the cause corruption, and you talk briefly about them. But now thing we get variations, and you can fet them for mitigate the circumstances. You can fet them without, you know, you will not be ever able for eradicate them because it come in all shapes and forms. You get the lower one and you get the higher one. Like I mean, just they read, you know, one philosopher in release today where say we get the smaller thief them, the smaller thief man them. Now then they in jail, the bigger thief man them. Now then they run rampant all over the place. In fact, now they are in charge. They are running things. They don't get to pay consequences, you know, here for their action the way that they do. We see that time and time and again because influence, affluence, money, and wealth can cause them thing in it. But here is the thing, Superman, okay? It go back again to leadership, the respect, all the things they are, and I think say you used the word earlier on a kind of intertwine. leadership, the kind of leadership, institutions, developing new institutions, respect for law and order, and commitment, patriotism. And these are key words. Patriotism, if you like nationalism, some people don't like to use nationalism because I can discriminate to other people, but it depends in the sense in which you use them. So if you are patriotic to your country, you want to see your country advance. That means you care for your country, and by default, you care for the other people. But there is this social contract between a government and the people and government by virtue of the law we bind we all. And I make nobody is bigger than the law. And you mentioned the Constitution. So everything they say that paper day for let we observe and live according to RAM. So government gets a right for provide for its people. Now it writes down that the people get their own rights. For sick government, then waiting for them can provide for them, whether not food security, whether not physical security, then a government in your business that one day. And the people, they get a right, for kind of behavior, the kind of social contract that they respect for the law, respect for people, respect for authority, and things like that. So that now a two-way relationship. If the government doesn't respect that, and the respect can in many sense, and going back to the corruption issue. So government need for provide for these people. When I say provide, sometimes they not to that physical country, they count or that physical job. It can be an enabling atmosphere. That is quite key. It's a key component where these people then go able for flourish, where investors then go able for come and invest, because once they invest, that gets an impact on the economy because the economy flourishes. But the government need for create the enabling environment. The enabling environment will be paramount among them, security. And then the other amenities that will come, such as light, good roads, running water, attention need for be paid to that. And then people there can come and can invest. Foreign and direct investment can come. And when they come, now money line and bring come because people will be employed. And once people are employed, they have to be paid. And once they pay, that means money they circulate in the economy. That means the economy they do well. People they get disposable income. Although not all money go do for, but at least a far better than some of the experiences we are experiencing. Okay, so for tackle corruption, Mr. Kamara, we get for look at the system, how the system is being abused. But you see, needless for go back into this repetitively, because not to say not to things the way we don't know. We do know these things, which in the cause corruption. The disadvantage in a society alone, it give rise to corruption, where one set of people very powerful, where they take all the money or everything, is good for them, right? Because where people are out there suffering with their kids and etc. They can't pay school fee, they can't put food on the table. Because why? There is no job. Because why? The economy is not being run thoroughly. So it cannot really provide for the people. So for restore the trust and confidence in the people, you get for sort out typical example again will be with country, because it's in an economic crisis, which we experience now. It's an economic crisis, okay? So I've been talk about the, one or two kind of corruption, where you get the half corruption and where can they happen, policeman, they take bribe and that. Now serious corruption, but compared to the big one where they up under, where you can relate to state capture, where they sign documents, where they influence parliament for do things way not right. Now in the massive corruption. So once that is, there's an argument that you take care of the small corruption. No, I don't buy into that. Now the big corruption, because once the leadership is ready and saying that we need for attack corruption by looking inwards ourselves, then of course everything will filter can down to the other people, and that this will not be tolerated, because again you strengthen the law. So with corruption, mostly now because economic crisis, but it can happen the other way around. Even where economic crisis, the corruption can cause for that economic crisis in a country. You get something what they call public sector corruption. Then the waiting it can derive from now where you experience power. Services where people therefore enjoy is very, very poor. So people then get for cut corners. So you see the responsibility of government again, People then go cut corners. Like you can see them deplorable thing away with people like you do. Like when they make road, they go take the stone. Okay? Now, because of the poverty in the country, it is an eyesore, to be honest. They put a design there like whole traffic signs. They will go and take them. Because why? Money no day. They don't have jobs. If people have jobs, people then get a propensity for be decent. They want for be decent. Some people then get family who don't want decent before it begin in wealth and the rest of it. But you get an obligation for feed them. Government get an obligation for look after them people and provide that conducive environment. In the absence of the environment there's going to be corruption. The greed for money, the desire, the want. And we can even bring account to the smallest form. One man day, you get 6 women them. In income, not even do for your host. But yet, he gets 6 women. So he get other obligation them. So therefore, he get for begin tamper with. Now make you be see government, they come with them policy, then say single treasury. First time the government not be know, almost they go, every ministry get account. One ministry get past 200 accounts. One. So imagine how many ministry and the MDAs them all together, put together. Until the single treasury account come, government know almost they go out for the day. At the end of a business day, government know what they come inside. These were always, you're trying to curb corruption. But these were not serious because it was applicable to other people, but not onto those who were supposed for be the gatekeepers for the people, for fight against this corruption. Okay? So waiting can also trigger now weak civil participation. Now government, like then with civil society, the way we get a specific function. But when they then co-opt them into the corrupt system because then they give them package, that also, you make corruption rife because there are no checks and balances. The powerful can get away with that. And the people that were supposed for out them, now then they encourage that because they have been bought. So nobody know they talk. You read the Africanist press talk about then get for release names of people who are in the pay package of governments. That tells you how deep the corruption is. And this now the kind of thing the way the ACC boss supposed for the look at. I know he gave a talk quite recently in a seminar, the impact of corruption on it. We know that, Mr. ACC boss. We know this, sir. We know. So 3 years on, we will expect, like solutions or how far we gone, but not to again the impact where they get now we country. So corruption is it get variations. The way how we come, the small one them and the big one them, poor public services, greed, and the non-respect for democracy and the rule of law, and all them things that they can encourage, corruption. So until government live by waiting they say and hold themselves to account and let the law take its course when it happens, then corruption is not going at that level anywhere soon. And this is a disgrace that we see right now. The people that we're supposed to fight corruption, they themselves have been accused of being very corrupt. And we get evidence to that effect. And the public argument now is, no, this is not to evidence. Very shameful when the international community, they listen to it. That people can say, invoice, your bank statement, financial statements, money will go, money will come. It's not evidence. If that's not evidence, I don't know what is evidence. So you see now all anything there, now then they help, for prop up corruption because there is no leadership capability. There is no honesty, no integrity, no principle. It's about me, enriching ourselves, just a handful group of people for almost 8 million people. All, maybe about 100,000 people enjoy. 7 million plus people, if you get closer to government, then maybe you get small crumbs waiting for them. Now we can see in our social media, we can come for can't defend. Some people are not even eat, but just because they are associated, and this is now another form of corruption, because they are associated with the government, either by family connection, patronage, and region or tribe, they encourage, like Professor Lumumba say, because the thief now you thief, you get a different name for them. But if now other person do the same thing, then obviously that thief is a thief. But they all are thieves because of the same action and then they commit. So there's so much, here that we need for do, that we government then need for do. But we the people themselves get responsibility, such as what we do so.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Prince Emikoma. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to almost say, when I don't forget Saturday, where they come, so it will be the 13th of March, 2021. We will host on this particular platform here. So the acting National Publicity Secretary for the APC party, when I'm Mr. Sidi Yaya Tunis, we go do with we also on the 13th of March. And on Tuesday, the 18th of March, like where the CEO and founder, Mr. Prince Emikoma, they mention no more, the editor of the Africanist Press, Mr. Cherno Alpha Bar, go day at this platform. So now watch out for the date here. So the Tuesday, the 18th of March, 2021, the editor of the Africanist Press, Mr. Cherno Bar, go day at this platform. And again, Mr. Prince, I definitely agree with that idea where you say corruption with the one fetter. Again, for begin fetter from the top, not to the bottom. Because where already at the top don't begin fetter, we don't set an example for the one already at the bottom. And we don't say, wow, if the one already at the top segment themselves, they face accountability, they face consequences for corruption. What about we now? So that's not clear and open example where the people them waiting at the bottom go see and say, yes, these people are really ready to fight corruption. But it's again another angle of this again, where we say like somebody's are all interrelated. Now this peace and security, this some lawlessness, I mean, it come out of proportion. Now we don't see per one election, even a minister, they among people them, when they go and take ballot property materials them, damage them in the full open public. When media, they policeman, all man, they watch them open one so. We see a dog where them put bands and nobody know for go up and down with motor car or everything. Or in the go up, in motor car, not get waiting and call, everybody sit down, pattern, do all kind of thing. No action is taken. And I believe that people in authority, maybe they fail to realize, say, this paints a negative image of the country, of the society. You cannot just say, because them people they support me on a part and parcel of my own political party where I belong, I just get for left them in and just go about, terrorize, do all kinds of things. That is okay. Because what they do, like what they say no more, again, it's all going to push to the economy. Because other people, they remember say they want to do business that country, they not go and go there. They not go, you know, they get no confidence, Mr. Prince Emikoma. So the issue about peace and security, how you see them in terms of the economy that we country as well?
Again, another brilliant question, Mr. Supermed. And Fambulem, this is not the national conversation, and we are all supposed to be a part of the conversation. We know that there are many distractions where they try to create diversion to what we do. We know the strategy is not about addressing the issues. Like if we make a submission, like what we're discussing here, we're discussing issues, of national relevance. If you take issues to what's being discussed here, then attack the issue that is being discussed and not the individual. But we know that's not the case with some people, because you don't have a counter argument because what is being said. We can't say that it's 100%, correct, but we are trying to provoke a critical argument. We can only take we country forward. So the national debate is indeed alive and well and kicking. Super corruption now threat to national development. If we don't understand that as such, we can also see like the issue where you mention, where na security issue, but again, they are all tied to the rule of law, democracy, and everything else that falls under that category. If you get an economic level, that corruption, when you observe in your country, it's not only about money, it's not only about people that we take, it's also about the action, non-money related, non-taking, like waiting, you just say, a minister or people in government, high-placed people in government. That are one of the saddest issues, now we book right now, because we know certain things that happened like decades ago, but we thought that we had moved on away from them kind of thing. For see them be repeated in 2021, after 5 democratic elections, after a war which left over 50,000 of we compatriots, 50 to 75,000 of we compatriots them dead, limbs hacked, and we see them physical scars then up to today. But just for move the country forward, we decide for be forgiving. We decide for look ourselves in the eye and say we need for move on, no malice, you know, and for see them kind of things that where the people go to express their will, a ballot box, when a sacred place, a shrine where the Constitution protects, that government officials can move into a place of that nature with no hindrance at all, and pick up the people's vote, pick up the people and right, and mash them down and step on them. That na a damning verdict on this government. That's just a fact. People may not like it, but even when you not like them, you see, one of the things that we supposed to do, which some of us are doing, is for no matter how inconvenient the situation is, no matter how inconvenient the question is, never shy away from asking, never shy away from talking about it. Because when you sweep them under the carpet, it raises its ugly head again, which means that we haven't dealt with the problem at all, okay? And we just remain for be hypocrites. So waiting the minister they need them go do when they catch them live on camera with their ID cards and their facial expressions and the camera, the timeline wouldn't lie, although we didn't an age, you know, where they see cultural shocks, but nothing was done to these people. Then waiting else, the authority go want tell other people, which kind of message does that send to other people then? So we they see this descending factor of violence and non-respect for rule of law. We're supposed to be under democracy, but yet you want to give me the impression like you are fighting corruption. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work. That make people like we continue for question that. Because if you're serious about the fight against corruption, that action day was a very, very corrupt act. Very, very corrupt act. It was a heinous act. It was criminal. It was criminal. That should have been investigated, at least investigated. If you come out with some response where we're not satisfied with, yes, we will grumble, but at least action was taken for some act that was committed which went against the law. But nothing of that nature was done. And this in itself puts a judgment on the current judges or the people that way they run the country. When we're being critical of the government, these are the things that we are citing, and these things cannot be denied. We stand and wait for people and for can't deny this, that ballot boxes were not crushed by government officials. With the ID showing, we still get them taped then day. Those tapes are still well and alive. And now one of the things that we'll get for can begin to do, because we get people that way they in denial. Luckily, we don't know how to play the tapes, and then we can analyze them with the general public. That's coming soon. Okay? So Superman, this is all, you know, there's some form of corruption and high degree of corruption. So when you get that kind of corruption and when they do so, what they do is they hinder development. The economy that they go before. And why? Because you get people that when they watch. This is not a joke. This is serious. I mean, if the people that when they run country, they are serious about the rule of law, about the protection of civil and human rights, about encouraging and providing a stimulating atmosphere. Stimulating, I use them deliberately. We go entice investors and for come. They don't have to be foreigners. Even indigenous people. We all get small change where we want to go down because all the small thing and the way we do, whether in a container you can go, whether in a two puda you can go, but you the employee driver, you they get apprentice. That apprentice, they don't survive. In people, they don't survive. And then you put them on a national scale, everything they go exponentially. So it does have an effect overall on the nation. But when you sit down as a government, you see that happen. Because of partisanship, you don't take action. You're not willing to sacrifice you know, your own. Because had it been someone else, definitely you would have taken action. So the reason for inaction, because these people turn out to be yours. So you refuse for act and compromise the state, compromise your integrity, everything. just for protect them. And then you want to tell the people with the other side of your mouth, say, well, we are here to fight corruption. Are you kidding us? Are we supposed to be like kindergartens? This is not possible. So then thing there, Mr. Kamara, it hinder the development of an economy. And this they affect both in the short and the long term, all the goals of development plans the way you get. And that's what they see. It's almost like science. In other words, it's almost like exact. You set out in the manifesto, because this is political. Say, this is what I'm going to do over this parliamentary period. In other words, the period that you were elected for, which is a 5 years period. That's why I don't support people who are trying to call for the overthrow or removal of the government. No. If you're dissatisfied with them and the people are watching, educate the people so that when that time comes for them to go and exercise their rights, that's when they put that into action. This is not junta time. And it's not amounted to that as yet. But the point I'm trying to make, Super, corruption are threats to the development of a country, to the democracy and the stability. Now you see, so that thing where you mentioned, now that voting center. The other thing where you see, now the same constituency 110, where a woman, I don't ever forget this story, because these are some of the things that are very corrupt. A woman who wants to go into parliament, it torture somebody in Peking live. When I say live, when they see her live, it's on tape. Then self-tape them. And then she had all these big people who are supposed to be running the country right by her side. In us at that time, according to Waiting and Say, where we see on tape, was the most protected house. I don't even think the president had such protection then, Usa Iminde at that time. Yet they all witnessed the torturing of little Ibrahim. You know, you see him like your son. It draw tears to your eyes. You know, and this is somebody who won't go to parliament. That is corruption. Has she been investigated? No. Instead, they put him up again as a parliamentary candidate. But the people of constituency 110, I salute you because you spoke. Not on a personal level, but on a national level. And this is a chilling effect because people are listening, people are watching. It's like, well, we cannot have this. It's not right. How can somebody do this? And then say the former president, this should go down in the Guinness Book of World Record. That the former president, Ernest Bai Koroma, now him be the ferry stone. Now, when you talk about this, then you've got people again who want to say, well, like defend Ernest. Are you serious? So that kind of chilling lie from somebody who want to go na the house, the big house, the house of the people as a parliamentarian. Now, in they tell them kind lie then that the former president, they go ferry stone for letting go stone news. Ebo, house level who don't count to now. So anyway, let's not deviate from that, but these are some of the problems where they affect short and long-term goals as set by a government. Because when you don't set them goal in it has to be almost exact, almost science. That within 1 year, I will build Lunge Bridge. That within 6 months, I will build the bakery. That within 3 months, I will bring MDAs there. I mean, MDEs, how you call them, small and local enterprises. I will bring, some investments in that area, then this and this I will do, this and this. It's over your 5-year period. I will bring free education. They don't have to take off, altogether. And I do even have problems with that. All the many promises they need. The reasons why they do fail, they don't take effect, again, that are issues of corruption, because they all can be carried out. But the reasons why they tell me that, because they feel say they can use that for mesmerizery. I will build Lunge Bridge. So we don't question, because we get carried away, the emotions, we get carried away. How effective is it? How realistic is it? How timely is it? You use your SMART acronym. How measured it is, other than just political gimmicks and telling us things, so we can vote them. But time and time and again, people are getting, sort of fed up with that, and they are understanding. So when you take the action in the supermed, like what we see now 110, all it does, it just puts off people. We're supposed to bring their money come. Whether or not international people, it put them off because it depicts a state which is in chaos and has no security. And once you allow one for go on, so even when you try for salvage them, it takes a while. This is not me saying so. When the things that they happen, just watch them serious embassy them, or then serious Ministry of Foreign Affairs them, be it the State Department in the United States of America, or the Foreign Office, NAYA, or the German Bundestag. You know, check the serious Western nations, them waiting and put up on the site, advising travelers not to go there. So potential investors, these are the things that they look at, and we only have to look inward. Who is responsible? Ourselves.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Prince Emil Koma. And family, the listener, the national conversation. I'm going to begin so once in a while with the brilliant kind of this platform, because if I know they discuss them here, so now they see who side the fault and lie, now able, you know, that's a nation. Not so we're not going to agree all together, but we learn for agree to disagree peacefully. And again, I want to say thank you very much to Madam Asana to correct we. Yes, the 18th of March will be on a Thursday. So on a Thursday, the 18th of March, now we'll get the editor of the African Express, when I'm Mr. Chernoba. And Saturday, the 13th of March, when at this Saturday when they come, now we'll get the acting National Publicity Secretary of the APC party, Mr. Sidi Yaya Tunis. So thank you very much for that correction, Madam Asanatu. And again, Mr. Prince Emil Koma, you couldn't have expounded on this particular talk much better, because definitely that issue of that Bobode and so many other things, people don't understand. Now, people don't know, go maybe go see them differently. It's not only violence, now corruption, like I just described as Solomon. Corruption in itself, it comes in so many different facets. It's not about just somebody they take 1 million more, put it in pocket, or they give money more. Everywhere you go take somebody, you pull somebody, they want to have people you don't train. Like what you see in the statistics. When the people who don't train, country don't train, they don't spend plenty money, put in there because they job, they're an expertise job. Now you just go pull them no more, say, okay, I want to bring young people, they can't put in there. Who's can corruption will pass that one? Because you know that people they go put it, they're not going to be competent. And they're going to bring the institution down, and that they affect the country seriously. So these are all ways of corruption. And again, people that abuse the rule of law and everything, these are all corruption. So corruption in itself, not a one go away no more. You get different angles. And when they see them all, they manifest itself now we country, which is really unfortunate. But again, we also go for look at the challenges them what we country they face. And all the also back link again, they come back to the economy. Because some of them challenges they are, so are you able to address them where the economy they in tatters? Like for the issue of poor healthcare, we know say some kind of sick them where they hold somebody in a salon. If you buy like death sentence, if they say you kill you know Hamburg, now almost remember now say this person get for can die. If they tell you say you get a liver issue, almost they say this person get for can die. You know, so many of the issues there, so you add condition. Yes, we know say we in a religious society, we believe say anybody who don't die, in terms don't reach for let it die. But some of them sick there, we also know say treatments in there where at least go extend your life. Now this follow with this so. Treatment in there, they do heart bypass surgery there for pull, clog arteries, so on and so forth. You see, but how government go able to deal with them this challenge of healthcare when like an insurance to me and you life? What would they see? Say even minor ailments, the old people in another country, they, somebody here heart, they go let that person here blind because even for go get serious optician, we go look how we go put treat them, the match all not there. So many things then. So many things then. In terms of the healthcare, in terms of the health of the nation, government will do nothing for them because of waiting, because of the poor economy. And what's the cause of poor economy? Now I'm the board I don't highlight so peace and security, corruption, poor leadership. And this is really unfortunate for me. Mr. Prince Emil Koma, I mean, I want you look again to think the way governments for do for we, where government is supposed to be like a responsibility, the peace, security, and the welfare of the people. Na salon de, how you going to link this again to the economic situation of the country?
Oh yeah, again, all the questions, you know, yeah, are kind of brilliant, but all kind of intertwined together. You can't talk about one without the other. So again, government get this major responsibility and it inside the constitution. Now, then the absolute provider according to the Constitution, okay? So when you talk about the health issue, for example, of course, that has something to do with the economy. And when you talk about the economy, of course, it has something to do with the security of the country, whether or not the peace and security that you talk about, okay? Health-wise, let we look at sub-Saharan Africa, okay? Then from the UN now. You get over 600 million people. You know, say Africa are one of the fastest growing multi-man place na the planet, population wise. So one of the major problems where we get, you see, one problem solves the other and the other and the other. But here it is. Health has something to do with electricity. Electricity gets something to do with the economy. The economy gets something to do with governance, the nature of governance. But in a country where all of this is abused, which means that there is nothing left, all waiting to happen within there is like it's like papering over the cracks, you know, and giving people crumbs and hopes and belief, something for believing, just like spiritualism. I remember I've been going to one program, I think now about a year ago, and we've been talk about the economy. And I said these things then, because you could see them coming. Why? Now projection. Because there are things that you're supposed to do. You know, you don't need complex mathematical formulas there, Mr. Kamara, for arrive at this, because now things that we already set. When you can have government, this and this now you need to do for your people. Politically, you know what you're supposed to do. Economically, you know what you're supposed to do. Socially, you know what you're supposed to do. So back home, one of the major things is one of electricity, especially when you talk about health. And without electricity, super, it just compounds the problem of health. Because things that we're supposed for power, facilities, whether or not generators, oxygen tanks, the dialysis machine where you talk about, what would be the use of a dialysis machine if you don't get electricity, if you don't have power? Of what use it is? The oxygen tank, of what use it is? You lay down an operating table and then the current is gone, electricity is gone. There is no power. We know how power has to, a need for be sustainable because it's interrelated, connected directly with development. Development, whether not for human index, you know, the current president always like to talk about human index, which is a good thing, the development of human index. But you can't just relate that to the school without putting all the ingredients there in place.
Mr. Pickett, I think we'll get line with your line. We'll get problem, we'll get trouble with your line at the moment.
You not get spacious classroom enough for students and they overrun. Yeah. You just don't do that, super. So in terms of the health, we get this major electrical problem where, in fact, like I said, they help for compound the problem. In other words, the other methods used are so crude that it goes back. So it just puts patient A or whoever patient is there in more danger. So you find out that the death statistics, they go up. Mortality rates, I don't even know how to say this, because this is kind of, you know, still shocking to me, because it's like, well, why one president can't just focus on one thing? Because if this thing na continuation, so you do electricity, or you do two things. The president can do two things. You're not going to do everything on equal level: education, marine fisheries, healthcare, and you name all of that. You want to do all of them at the same time. There has to be some critical mass. Okay, so when then you know before that now firewood now will go light. You remember way back in the 1980s, firewood. Okay, where you light them, you get a toxic fume them, where you go the pool, whether not charcoal now you use. And remember, if you use that kind of system there for cure people, and I know say you mentioned something like a minor ailment, whether not eye problem, I suffer from eye problem, and luckily I'm on the side, so it's been looked after. And many a times I've sat down myself and imagine people the way they don't day from where we come from who don't have access to something as basic as this. And why is it? Because of corruption, Superman. Inside sub-Saharan Africa, we observe 2.6 million premature death then. On that basis, they are what we talk about. Not a small number that one day, according to the UN. 2.6 million people die because of lack of basic. You factor your own country inside it with 7 million people, percentile-wise, and see how many people that we lose to them basic things there because we don't have a guaranteed form of electricity. We go help for power the place. We also go help for bring investor and come to the place. Because once there's power and you provide security, see how all of these things are intertwined. Because once it's not there again, you get a level of criminality because criminals, they lock in the dark. And then it provides a state of insecurity as well. Now you can't work at 7 o'clock in your own country because it's dark. You can't hold your phone because it's dark. You can't park your vehicle there because it's dark. It all come back again to the rule of law, Mr. Superman. All of this come back to the rule of law, sir. You see? So now make corruption, now threat to development, now threat to the democracy, this nascent democracy, we don't try for nurture for over 20 years, we were done. Okay? Now threats to stability. These are the kind of things, that corruption do to we. And something, definitely, of course, needs to be done. And I need to talk about words. I need to talk about words. I need to talk about action, not to mere words. Okay? Not to mere words. You talk about the rule of law, Mr. Superman. Okay? If you go back again to the United Nations Charter, it talks something about the rule of law and in a democracy. So sometimes we can just use the word. It's the principle of governance in which, if you can allow me to read this quickly, it's the principle of governance. It's the principle of governance in which all persons and institutions and entities, public and private, including the state itself, are accountable to laws, like we talked earlier. The state itself is accountable to law. What this means is that the institutions are strong. You don't have strong men, you have strong institutions. So your law is working. So anybody where they're in violation, contravention, abuse of processes is answerable to the system, not the people, but the system. So until we get all of these things in place, these are the questions, and we are going nowhere. Let me not fool ourselves. We have to start calling it as it is, my brother. This is a joke. It's a joke that we say would affect corruption. Inside the corruption would affect. A government paper come out, the Auditor General a report come out. We see corruption at a level where we don't see for 11 years. And yet those that have been there for 11 years, as corrupt as they were, they now look like saints. Because the money where they say the thief, according to the one the way they investigate them now, the government paper will come out, the audit report will come out. They say they don't thief inside 3 years, more than them one and they will have been accused for 11 years. We also see for the first time a cultural shock. This is a cultural shock. The government was caught napping. First lady was caught napping. President was caught napping. Chief minister napping. African Express pull and pull. We see people and begin deny force. They thought as usual and getting complex mathematical variation the way they don't use, where it's like the news bona 3 days, bona 7 days, 21 days. Yet the African Express continue for pull and pull. We begin see the change in an animal farm sort of notion or concept in which the verb them begin change to something else. Some begin for turn, to conjunctions. So there's a statement or there's a sentence, but connected with a conjunction, but. So all animals are equal, but something like that. That's what I'm trying to say. So they are investigating corruption and this come out. African Express pool. How many months now we they on them? Yet these people were caught red-handed, denying in the first place. Now that they have even accepted and trying to rationalize the allegations levied against them or justify these allegations, what is quite telling again is you've got people, some of them do understand, of course, some of them are gullibles, we come again and one can defend waiting, and on which basis the one that we know, only on the basis because of they belong. This na me uncle, this na me in Komoyanda, this na me in go school. So where is the country? This is the problem, Super.
Okay, thank you very much, and for that impassionate response, Mr. Prince Emile Kroma, because when you quote the number of people who die in sub-Saharan Africa from preventable disease, that they show the impact, and they bring out the seriousness of the whole issue to bear. They show we Sierra Leoneans and even West Africa, that sub-region, how people really they suffer. And now they focus now we country, because now we country will sabi in detail. But really, if you are in Sierra Leone now, you go east, west, north, and south, you actually see what's in the border they try for talk about now. And all that, again, they create insecurity, like what the border they say. Because Bob Marley say an hungry man is an angry man. So now like a bubbling something, what can explode at any minute. And again, we get this facade fight against corruption, wherein, it's just laughable. It's laughable because, like what the brothers say, the year that they double by themselves, the other year was 2018, they say over 140 something billion loans was unaccounted for. The other year, we come Patapam, we'll not talk about that 140 something billion year too. Now another one will come 170 something billion. And nothing seems to be done. Then reports how they come out, oh, they go investigate, nothing. So that culture of itself, of that impunity goes on. Yeah. And now we continue to see, they accuse somebody for thief over 40,000 bags of rice. That case go to court. The post whether the Agbagba for Fed for we corruption in our country say, because the judge say, this case here will be between the judge and the jury, like jury, because of that, then the case collapse. And indeed, the case collapsed. The same person will be accused, where they get all kind of evidence against them. That particular person don't go back and they continue as a minister. It's people them way that the international community go look when they laugh. They say these people are jokers. How a nation go stoop this low? But again, Mr. Prince Emile Kroma, as we reflect for Rapid program, I want to tell them. Ladies and gentlemen, people in the chat room, please, I want to give that date. I don't forget on Saturday, the 18th of March 2021, we host the acting National Publicity Secretary Nayaso of the APC party, Mr. Sidi Yaya Tunis. And Thursday, Thursday, the 18th of March 2021, the editor of the Africanist Press, Mr. Cherno Alphaba, says go there with me on this platform. So please, keep them dates and pen them down. Very, very important dates. As we the for round up now, Mr. Prince Emile Kroma, I want to tie this up all again to national cohesion. Because what we see now in country now, because of the question no more, people if you say, I belong, I'm my brother, I'm my sister, now I'm in daddy and party, now I'm this and this, I will come on the same town, the same village, the same region. We don't see a big schism, a division. We don't grow now in country. And again, in limited resources. So all man effect for that small brain at the table, because of the big brain, the one that will get power, will get access, don't take the big brain. That division, they don't begin come out, stack one. And again, people like we could say this is a national conversation. I believe say people and brothers and sisters in the chat room and people looking for subsequently watch this program, go begin think about NTSO. When they see that national cohesion, that we don't begin to split, and people are looking at themselves with different identity. And again, Mr. Prince Emile Kroma, going forward, as we fight for rap now, what do you feel say that get for doing in terms of peace and security and bringing that back to the economy? If we continue like that.
Yeah, what a brilliant question. But I just take note, today, because the national conversation is on, of course, the people in the chat room. And I just see a brother just sent something, Roland Karimu, and just want to address in take, which is, I read them quickly. The basis for this argument, which I believe is what we are having now, should have been relevant if analysis should be retrospective to address all the lapses identified. It seems all at the moment is focusing on the present administration. This is selective amnesia. Of course, even when you get your opinion should be backed by the circumstances, by the fact. I can see many times Now, one of the most abused words, opinion. Oh, not my opinion. In other words, you want to dodge the thing. I'm not saying that's what the brother is doing, but let me address that quickly. So the retrospective that you're talking about has been going on for 3 years. And this is just selective excuse to water down what is ongoing at the moment, which is clear. The debate is about the now, okay? We do mention the then in passing, but it's been like 3 years. And why should we be going there when there was a GTT report, a commission of inquiries, a white paper which is being recommended, which the president, I believe, is going to effect anytime soon. So what is the selective amnesia? So let's be careful with the jargon because it has to fit in. It has to fit in. I know this might be music for some people, but what's the relevance here? Selective amnesia, it needs to be retrospective. All what we've been saying here does go back. The questions are reflective of where we came from as opposed to where we are. This is what we are addressing. Don't just write because you want to write. We want an enhanced conversation, and we do appreciate that though, and I'm just addressing that. So I say thanks to the brother for that contribution. Prince Charming, Charlie, and available soon, and available soon, and available soon. And I've got to get the interview and available. I wonder who's this. I don't get it. The problem Sierra Leone faces is that we have been cursed by the two main parties, the APC and the SLPP. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Melvin, this is quite true. And these are the things that we talk about. The two parties are responsible. It's like the saddest thing is like choosing between the two devils. There are friends that are here on this platform that are discuss wider variations about how do we go forward from here? Do we form a coalition? How will a coalition survive? What are but there are many things happening now anyway. We'll leave that conversation for another day. Make I go back again to the question we Supermed asked, I think say we try for round up the program, which is quite important. And I'll just recap quick. I hope I get the question, which is something relating to peace and security.
Well, let me recap again.
National.
Yes, it's national cohesion. We not say whatever circumstances we don't face, even during with troubles, we're not descend into that tribal, that regionalism and stuff. But what we say lately, people these politics they don't become so belong and attached to certain regions, certain tribes, we have to say these things because unless we talk them, they go say this national conversation, we're not going to deal with them. And that term creates a schism. We against them and us. And I'm thinking this has potential ramifications for the peace and security of a country, as well as the economy of the country as well, going forward. What do you think?
Yeah, okay. I think it's quite a necessary question, Super. Yeah, because it's contemporary, so it's quite necessary. So first thing first is understanding waiting the peace and cohesion, especially contextually, the way how you ask them and waiting it mean for we as a people. So we need to understand that waiting all we together as a people, okay? Now we nationality. I repeat, what holds us together, what binds us together as a people is our nationality. Inside that nationality, we get with tradition and cultures, we break down to regions and tribes and communities and this and that. But first thing first is the nation above all. Everything else begins to filter down. So when you hear the coinage national cohesion, you talk about a national identity, with nationality. Within our nationality, as per this argument, this conversation here this evening, is that we Sierra Leoneans, if it were applicable to other people, let's say Guinea people, it would be Guineans. But in this case, we're talking about Sierra Leoneans. So hence, where we talk about national cohesion, we talk about nationality and with culture. And this is now a source, of also we derive that feeling there for a national cohesion because of nationality. Now then you begin for your nationalism. Now then you begin for your patriotism. This is not the national cohesion. We bind we together as a people, as one. If we not get a unified country, and this is now going back to the brother, because that's quite a critical question to this debate, the ongoing debate generally. If we not get a unified culture, for where we arrive as a nation, we did together, it will always be difficult. And we not go attain the things then where we aspire or where people learn of one nation, one culture, one nationality will achieve as a people. A house divided cannot stand. This is what it means. Any nation, may believe say any nation, we not get a unity day between the people them, or we get a split in the culture, and in some cases, politically motivated, because now so some people in the rule, divide and rule, like what the British they do centuries ago. For let you conquer a people, it has to be divide and rule. You want to rewrite the books just for that period of time that you're there. And you can able to do it for that period of time that you're there, but it does so much damage that by the time you leave, the country can no longer hold, because you have been that peace way been in at the middle, where they hold the country. We've seen it in many nations. People that were ruled for ages. That's how they survived in power. We can go back to Mobutu Sese Seko of the Democratic Republic of Congo now, then Zaire. We can go back to Humphreys Boigny, the founding father of the Ivory Coast. We can go to the man where they in the country they now in Cameroon, Amadou Ahidjo. From when I get interest in politics, some 30 some more, 40 some more years ago, Ahidjo was there. I remember I used to draw him because he was on the Newsweek magazine and Africa Now magazine. He's still there. The way how them people are they survive, that's what they do. So forget that national cohesion. It means that a people has to have a national identity. Then forget national identity. That national identity, they bring them come together like glue, that no one can separate them. Nobody can drive a wedge between them. Because why? There is a common denominator within that national identity. This is what binds us. This is our culture. We rise together, we fall together. In the absence of that, the nation is divided. And when the nation is divided, it is catastrophic. It affects the peace and security of the country. And we're seeing almost all of these elements right now. It's not a joke. This is real. This is real. And I'm sure a lot of people who are not deluded will agree, because this is just real. It's not being made up. There's this argument like the people in Sierra Leone, they barely talk politics. Well, if that's true, it's because probably they've had enough. And maybe they discuss it privately, suddenly they've become conservative. But waiting we do know is they do discuss a lot of politics there. What we talk here, it emanates from there. This is where the newspapers are. This is where the stories come from. This is where it breaks from. So I don't know why people come with that, but we see the people who come with that. But Superman, the long and short of it is like leaders can come and play on so that we don't have this national cohesion. Because of course, every leader get agenda. But like you started the show, you started with a kind of leadership, I believe, although I missed the very first part. But I think I overheard something like that, the kind of leadership then where we get different kinds of leadership. So some leadership, it can be like paternalistic, like father-like. So everybody look forward, to almost like a grand old man, like a dad kind of like figure. That means somebody will get empathy and sympathy with the country, and everybody else resonate with such a leader. So such a leader is popular. This is not any kind of populist movement there, if you like. Yes, there will be disgruntled. You never have 100%. So the way how they can rate them percentile-wise, now the greater the percent. Where you can hear ratings like America, this is what they do. I'm not sure whether we do proper statistics, or data collection or survey. But this is what it is. The community cohesion, the national cohesion is very, very important. But now again, as we see, it's looking more and more difficult and more different, because we see the arguments on social media. It's them against us, or vice versa, us against them. This is dangerous for a country. It's dangerous for a country. We need to have a national conversation just like we're doing, an enhanced one we get value. The strategy of attacking the messenger and not the message, again, I can always call them a redundant idea. A redundant idea, an idea when they work, or idea when they don't think, when they don't realize it, but this is not the idea. Because if you did, you get ideas then on you, or on waiting to go on, then obviously those are the ideas that where you go the table for counter the narrative. Then we're going to have, your argument on a higher level, on an enhanced level, on an academic level of some proportion where only can benefit the state. But instead, in some quarters, in some arguments, all we see now very local arguments when they bring any benefit. That's why I don't go that way. We don't go that way on this platform. We try to keep the platform respectable. Finally, before I left you, we've been having this program where APC flag bearer aspirants are coming to the platform, for which I must commend you. You've been doing an extremely great job. And somebody asked me today, why is it, I don't know where they came up with their percentage, and why is it this percentage, which was a fair question. But as usual, I had my antenna up and was suspicious of why this sudden question. But I agree it was a fair question. So I answered the question, I believe, in all fairness, which is, I don't agree with the 90% that you put on it, because we're having different candidates that are coming here. Last week, we talked to the leader of the NDP. We've been having the deputy leader of the ADP. We've had the leader of the NURP. We've had the former minority leader of the SLPP in Parliament, the distinguished lady, Madame Bernadette Lahai. She's been on the program. So we've had all these, people over a period of time. Recently, we had Mr. Emmanuel Ali was on the program. And the platform, we always make it clear that it's open to everybody. If you choose to come, good luck. We're looking forward to that. But then back again, I was asked this question and I answered it in all fairness, that we've got a duty of care. We've got an obligation to the public. Yes, we can see where the question is coming from, but this is of huge public interest. That's what we operate on. It's of huge public interest that if 10 APC political potential flag bearer aspirants line up themselves and ask us that they want an interview, or the other way around, we are interested in interviewing them because it's of public interest, why shouldn't we? And let me just make it clear that the same is open to anybody. The SLPP, the NURP, whose leader has been on this platform a couple of times. We've had the president of SLAJ, Mr. Nasrallah, aka D Monk. We've had the head of media department at Frabe College, with Greatest University, Dr. Tonya Musa, he's been on the program, and a few names. This is why at some point this year, pretty soon, we will begin for air them program then day again. Then we'll run again at some time, maybe during the week when we're not broadcasting, just for play and so other family and will come clue onto this. But what a great question, Mr. Superman. It's been a good one, and I like the way how you end them. I don't know whether you've ended it, but on national cohesion, which in itself is a good thing. Well, okay, because if we get a national cohesion day, which we need to
absolutely
understand.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prince.
Yeah, that also they help for enhanced development, because the whole nation is focused in the same direction, not in different directions.
Okay, then thank you very much, Mr. Prince. Just for round them up from your own side, I want to remind people in back say on Saturday the 18th, it will be 8 p.m. Now this particular platform here, so we will get the acting national publicity secretary of the APC party, whether Mr. Sidi Yaya Tunis. And on Thursday, the 18th of March, 2021, we will get the editor of the Africanist Press, Mr. Cherno Alpha Bar. And again, just for both respecting the boy, I don't say Mr. Kroma, in terms of this platform is open. We've said that over and over and over. If people from the other side or maybe other different parties, no one come, we cannot force them. The people who want to come, the platform open for them. You know, if today all we'll be more than grateful for get people from the current administration for come. We will even, you know, give them first preference because now they run the country now. We've reached out to most of those people. If we're not able to reach out to them and carry the platform, then that's going to be more appreciable as well. So the platform is always open to them. And we would then also for national discourse. Look what we talk about. This is a national conversation. Where we say journal in our own different platform. Then now we talk as a nation. The border caught one thing is not saying as sub-Saharan Africa. 2.something million people they die out of preventable disease. Can you imagine the scale of people? And all of these things are very, very important things for the talk about. So again, I want to all thank you. And on behalf of this particular platform, and Mr. Prince Mikoma, maybe you have the last word. One time we appreciate when I comment them all, and I'll keep the conversation going. I remember the former president, I think 44th president of the United States, when the popular Barack Obama did say politics and voting and everything get consequences. If you say they mix, I don't want to talk about, I don't want to mix, it will affect you. It will affect we all. Because we are saying we host the leak and able by the panel to there. Now we said, how comes to the panel there? Now government decision. So now two all for come in and talk about sensitize ourselves so that we make the right decision. We get the type of leadership who will feel say it will benefit the country. And that is very, very fundamental into anything we try for the way they talk about. But it up to we the people, we the Sierra Leoneans, wherever we do, for we engage in and discuss for the betterment of the country. If I reach I want to thank you once more again, and thank you very much. And I hand over to Mr. Prince Mikoma for round up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Superman. Brilliant stuff. And Fambulemuna, thank you, for staying with the platform. I can't say better than Superman don't say we only interest here now for keep the national conversation going for the betterment of Mama Salone. If something is stable and we have a disagreement with it, let's hear that disagreement. Like the brother right now in the chat room just now, and try for counter, what will they say? That's the argument that we want. Then we can have the back and forth. Then at some point we will realize exactly where we are with the conversation. But this conversation is ongoing. Don't be left out. We will plead with you. But if you not see and so, then absolutely the conversation will go on, without you. But what is interesting in this case with all of the questions where the brother asked, just for wrap up quickly, is the dangers of unchecked power. Again, it come back to the Constitution. When somebody get unchecked power, the propensity for be corrupt, look at it. So these are some of the things that we're seeing. Power should be checked. You can't just have that raw unchecked power. And this is the thing why we need to revisit the Constitution. But like I can always say, it's going to be difficult. Something needs to happen for that Constitution for be changed because none of them are willing and going into the future for that offender person, they will go willing for do and for change that clause in the Constitution. We go wither down the power of the president and empower institutions. We go work for the entire country. Another thing which is quite telling of the country, again, is relevant to the conversation here tonight. It just struck me mind because we've been talk about the guardians of we democracy. When we talk about corruption, the raw unchecked power, which it can lead to corruption, the threats to national security, and etc. We get people when are the guiders of the situation inside a democracy. One, we talk about them when are the CSO, them and a few other people them. But again, key outside of government institutions is that of the religious community, the church, the mosque, the Christian community, the Muslim community. This is a very, very powerful institution and the most powerful institution outside of government. They too have got a responsibility for the upkeeping of the state. They provide part of the checks and balances of the state as guaranteed by our constitution. They are also the gatekeepers. What is telling about them is, with many things that have been ongoing, unfortunately, we not hear from them as how we're supposed to hear from them. No pastoral letter, no letter from the Muslim community or the general community as a whole, despite the bastardization of we people, despite the abuses of human rights, despite Tombo, despite Lunsar, despite Pademba Road, despite McKinney, despite Crown, despite Constituency 101. Where are they? This is why we look forward to the Africanist press coming out with those names, institutions, be them media houses, be them people, organizations, and institutions who are on the payroll and for which reasons they have not been able to uphold their obligations to the people of Sierra Leone. Family Mateluna, thank you very much. And like Supermed say, 2 big programs coming on the then and now. 2 big programs that you can't afford for miss. CDIA Tunis will be on the program. It's a household name. We know him, and when we say him, not so because in our APC. He is part of the national conversation. He's a stakeholder belonging to the biggest party, which is the APC. And this is just factually correct by statistics. And the Africanist pressman would hope say it would there the middle of this month. Did you say the 18th, Superman?
18th,
yeah, on a Thursday.
18th. It's Thursday the 18th.
So I say thank you. I say thank you to all. Thank you for keeping the guard. Thank you for having the faith in us. The national conversation belongs to every one of us. Let's keep it going. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And bye-bye to everyone.
Goodbye to everybody.